Good Sunday morning, sports fans. How you doing? It is Christmas Eve, and it is a rainy, somewhat cloudy, gloomy day here in Texas. Well, in the part of Texas I'm in Tyler. But I hope everyone is having a great start to your Christmas holiday week. Again, today is Christmas Eve, and you are tuning in to the TFG Sports Show, the best 30-minute sports talk show on social media. I am your host, the sports guy, Kendrick. I hope, again, everyone is having a great Christmas Eve. I hope you're not stressing too much. I'm sure a lot of people are probably trying to do some last-minute shopping, some last-minute cooking, and all that good stuff. But again, don't forget, the most important part is, man, make sure you aren't ignoring your family. Make sure you're spending as much time with your family as you possibly can. And don't stress too much. Just, relax. As my man, Aaron Rodgers said a couple of years ago, when people was tripping on the Packers, it was kind of off and losing games. And he said, relax, RELAX. Just relax. So we're going to relax today. I know I am. So again, make sure you come in, comment, let me know you're in here. Make sure you make sure you share this to all your social media platforms. Again, this is TFG Sports Media. Make sure if you haven't already, you can see that it's scrolling at the bottom of the ticker. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Make sure you like and follow TFG Sports Media on Facebook as well. And make sure you like and subscribe to my personal YouTube channel, my sports channel. That's Kendrick Sports Hustle. That's SporTZ. HUSTLE. Make sure you subscribe to there as well, and make sure you like and follow Kendrick Sports Hustle on Facebook. And you can subscribe and actually follow me on my personal Facebook page. That is Kendrick Roland Henderson on Facebook. You can also follow me on Instagram, KDrick1969, and you also can follow me on TikTok, Kendrick Henderson 51, where I do a little bit of sports and I love music. I'm a music lover as well. So on my TikTok, on Instagram, you'll see a little mix of both, as well as on my Facebook profile as well. But on my YouTube channels, Kendrick Sports Hustle and TFG Sports Media, is just strictly sports. That is all. So how we all doing out there? Y'all comment in there. How's the Christmas going? What's your wish list looking like? What's your food menu looking like? Talk to me in the comments. If you watch this later, I want to talk to the people that watch this later. Make sure you comment. Let me know how's your Christmas, what you got going on, what's your expectations, what do you want, and what are you expecting, and what have you spent your good hard-earned money on to satisfy those that love you. And speaking of which, I got to give a shout out. I got my Green Bay Packers. I got a mug, and now I got a glass, and I got to give a shout out to my FedEx family. I work part-time at FedEx, unloading trucks, but I got to give a shout out to my FedEx family, Veronica, Kelly, my guys, Russell, Ross, Tay, all the rest of the FedEx family. It's been pretty cool making some new connections and making some new friendships. But Veronica and Kelly made this happen. Not only did they give me a Packers glass, they also got me a Packers t-shirt, obviously. And they Cowboy fans, so they be giving me grief and I'll be giving them grief as well. But again, I got an early Christmas gift that I wasn't expecting, and I greatly appreciate that. So again, we're going to talk a little sports today. I decided to come on a little later. I normally come on at 10, but NFL schedule to this week, it's a little bit split. Obviously, we had some games yesterday. Got kind of a light schedule today. Then we got some NFL games on tomorrow. As far as there's the early games, it's not really much of early games that's going to be worth watching. So I was like, well, you know what? I come on at 11 a.m. and we're going to talk a little bit. And hopefully somebody will pop in and join me. So again, we are in NFL. We're in week 16 in the NFL, and it's getting down to the nitty gritty. Let's talk about Saturday's games right off the top. We had two games on yesterday. We had the Bengals at the Steelers, and we had the Bills at the Chargers. And the Steelers were in a must-win situation. They really don't have any margin for error, and they put it on the Bengals. They got the big win yesterday 34-11. I think Mason Rudolph started for the Steelers, and he looked pretty good, man. And they jumped out on the Bengals pretty early, and that was a wrap. The Bengals offensively couldn't get much done with their quarterback, as you know. Their guy, their starting quarterback, he's Joe Burrow. He's done for the season, so they having to go with their backup. But again, Steelers. They've been in a funk, man, and they need to just win, and that kind of helped them because they're still somewhat in the playoff hunt. That AFC North is tightened up a whole lot. You got the Ravens sitting at 11-3, the Browns sitting at 9-5. Now the Steelers is at 8-7, and the Bengals are at 8-7. The Ravens have already clinched their playoff berth, but that AFC North it's a tight one. Speaking of the Ravens, they got a big game on tomorrow night, Christmas night. They got the Niners. And that's going to be a big game. So, again, Steelers, they had to win this game, you know. And I said this in the segment. I believe, and as much as it pained me to say this, I believe Mike Tomlin is on the hot seat. You know, the Steelers organization don't fire coaches. But I think at this point, after that loss to the Colts last week, I said to myself, I was just looking at the Steelers' body language, some of the players. I'm like, I think they've tuned Tomlin out. And I think sometimes you can be at one place for such a long time. Sometimes it's time for a change of scenery. Tomlin's been there since, 06, I believe. He's been there 17 years, man. He's won a Super Bowl. He's been to the playoffs. Never had a losing season since he's been taking over as head coach. But I think it's a point where I think now it's not moving forward. And again, if Mike Tomlin isn't retained, believe me, his name is going to be hot, just like Bill Belichick, because they saying that Bill Belichick may be on the hot seat as well. So again, the Steelers got the big win on yesterday, and then last night the Bills got the win over the Chargers, 24-22, and that's keeping them. They sticking around. Because they just a game back of the Dolphins right now. The Dolphins sitting at 10-4, and they got that big game. That's the 325 game. They host the Cowboys. So the Bills are sitting at 9-6 behind the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Pats. They are eliminated from the playoffs. So they're not even a factor in the AFC East division. So I was looking at the schedule. So what are the games as far as that's key this Sunday? As far as the early games, I just was looking over the schedule. I would say the Lions at the Vikings. That's definitely a key matchup in that NFC North division. My Packers, unfortunately, they done tripped around and messed around. So I mean, they still hanging on by a thin thread for a playoff berth, but they have no margin for error as well. That NFC North division, again, the Lions sitting at 10-4. The Vikings are at 7-7. The Packers at 6-8, and the Bears at 5-9. But you know, the Lions, if they get this win today over the Vikings, that pretty much wraps up the NFC North at that point. So that is definitely a key game for positioning in the NFC North. That's at noon kickoff as well. And then we got the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 3:05 p.m. That's another one. I think the Buccaneers are looking to finally, they can probably clinch that NFC South, because I think that's probably the worst division in football at this point. Well, I think that's probably a toss-up between, the NFC South is, I would say, the worst division in football this season. So the Jags and the Bucs, the Jags can put their hold on the AFC South as well with a win. And the Bucs, I think they pretty much going to win at the NFC South as well. And the Browns at the Texans. That's a big one, too, for the Texans, because I think they need this win, but unfortunately they won't have their quarterback. C.J. Stroud, he is out again. Far as he's still suffering from that concussion. So the Browns at the Texans, that's a big game. The Browns definitely don't have any margin for error, because they need to, try to keep up with the Ravens in that AFC North. And the Texans, they were looking pretty here a couple of weeks ago, but now it's kind of tightened up. The Texans are 8-6 though. That division is still up for grabs. The Jags and the Jaguars are 8-6, the Colts are 8-6, and the Texans are 8-6. So this AFC South isn't a done deal for the Jaguars, obviously the Tennessee Titans, they're 5-9. They are eliminated from the playoffs. So that is no key. They are not a factor at all. So the late game kickoffs, obviously we only got actually two, I believe. We got the Cardinals, and I think they playing. I think no, it's the Commanders at the Jets. I think is the late. No, I'm sorry. It's the Jaguars. That's the late game. Jaguars at the Bucks. That's 3:05. And then we got the Cowboys at the Dolphins. That's 3:25. And that is the game of the day as far as everybody's going to have their eyes on there. Last word I saw that Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill is questionable to play in this game. He's still dealing with an ankle issue, but it looks like it may be a game time decision for him. So we'll see. But they still got Jalen Waddle and they still got Raheem Mostert. The Dolphins still got their firepower on their offense. So Cowboys going to have to be ready to go. I know they still seething from that Bills loss. The defense pretty much ran up and down the field, but it's that game is in the rear view. This is a big win, a big game, I think, for both teams. I think the Cowboys and the Eagles are sitting there in the NFC East. They both has clinched the playoff, but the division crown is still up for grabs. Right now, the Cowboys are in first place in the East due to the tiebreaker over the Eagles, but they both clinched the playoff berth. As far as the rest of those teams in that division, Commanders are already eliminated from playoff contention, and the Giants are sitting at 5-9. So Cowboys don't have any either. I don't think they have any margin for errors either, because after this, they got the Lions at home, and then they finish on the road at the Commanders. So they definitely need to win out. The Eagles actually play. I think when do the Eagles play? I want to say they don't play. The Giants have the Eagles today. That's right. That's who they have today. The Eagles should win that game, but any given Sunday, anybody can beat anybody. So again, this NFL Week 16 is getting down to jockeying for playoff positions. Let's just run through the divisions real quick. The AFC East, the Dolphins are sitting at 10-4, the Bills at 9-6. Again, the Jets and Pats are already eliminated from the playoffs. The AFC North, you got the Ravens at 11-3, which I think they are the best team in the AFC at this point. The Browns at 9-5, the Steelers at 8-7, and the Bengals at 8-7. The Ravens have already clinched a playoff berth. Now the AFC South, again, this is a tight race. Jags, Colts, and Texans are all at 8-6, and the Titans are at 5-9, and they've already been eliminated from playoff contention. Now, the AFC West, the Chiefs, we hadn't talked a whole lot about them. They've just kind of been trugging along. I don't know what to make about the Chiefs, but they're in first in the West. They're 9-5. Broncos are 7-7. Raiders 6-8. Chargers are 5-10. And with that loss last night, the Chargers have been eliminated from playoff contention. Now, the NFC East, we'll switch over there again. Cowboys are 10-4. Eagles 10-4. Both have clinched a playoff berth. Giants 5-9 and the Commanders 4-10. They are out of playoff contention. NFC North, got the Lions at 10-4. The Vikings at 7-7. Packers at 6-8, and the Bears at 5-9. Then the NFC South, we got the Buccaneers at 7-7, Saints at 7-8, Falcons at 6-8, and the Panthers at 2-12, who have been eliminated from playoff contention. And the NFC West, the best team in the league, in my view, and in the NFC, the 49ers are 11-3, Rams are 8-7, the Seahawks are 8-7, the Cardinals are 3-11. The Cardinals have been eliminated from the playoffs, and the Niners have already clinched the division. Again, now injuries. Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud, that big game against the Browns, he will not play. He's out because of concussion. And again, Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill, he's questionable with an ankle injury, but I'm quite sure that most likely he will play when they take on the Cowboys this afternoon at 3:25 in Miami. So that is our NFL Week 16 roundup. We're going to stay in the NFL, and we're going to switch over to we're going to stay with the Dallas Cowboys. I did a segment on the Cowboys on Michael Parsons a couple of days ago. I ran across some audio, and he has a podcast called The Edge, and he was going off. He went off on former players that have turned analysts. As you can see scrolling in the ticker, I put what he said, and it garnered quite a few rebuttals, especially from you know who, ESPN Stephen A. Smith, as well as Shannon Sharp would respond. But Michael Parsons, he's blasting sports analysts, former players that turn sports analysts, because he said he feels like they are looking for they want the Cowboys to lose, and they are wanting current players to fail, according to Michael Parsons. That's what he said. Now, in his soundbite, and I quote, he says, "Everyone waits for the Cowboys to lose. I saw multiple analysts, people who are fake analysts, who somehow got jobs on TV saying, 'There goes your boy.' It's almost got to the point where it's like almost sick that former players and analysts, they want to see players fail." And specifically, he was saying that they also said that they want to see the Cowboys lose, so they'll have something to talk about. And I kind of paraphrase the end of that. And that's what Michael Parsons, Cowboys linebacker, said on his podcast last week. Now, look, man, here's my take, my thoughts on this. I think a lot of these athletes, are they the Gen Zs? I guess they would call them the Gen Zs, millennials. I think a lot of these cats, they just sensitive about criticism. They feel like every time someone of an analyst or a sports opinionist says something about their game, they take it personal, but they don't have a problem with these analysts praising them whenever they do something great. I just think these new athletes, man, they got to stop watching. They got to stop watching social media. They got to stop reading the headlines. It's funny, back in I'm from the generation where the coaches would tell you stop, don't read the headlines. You don't need to read what's in the paper. Now, social media is such a big platform for everybody. It's in your face. It's there before it's there. So, but you just can't take it personal. You just got to perform, man. Like I say, as far as Michael Parsons, what he's talking about, I do know there is a level of hate against the Dallas Cowboys. I see it on my social media platform all the time. The Dallas Cowboy trolls are out there. I see more people that they can't wait to get to their social media to post memes or whatever after the Cowboys lose, because that's what they do. They're just trolls. And it's funny. I always say it's funny to me that a lot of the people that post these memes and can't wait, a lot of them, you don't even know who the heck their team is or who they're a fan of, because they talk more about the Cowboys than they talk about their alleged fandom to whatever team there is. So I would tell Michael Parsons, man, you gotta get the blinders on. You can't pay no attention to that. One commenter said it in the comments when I posted this story. He was talking about McCoy, and I was like, oh, he's talking about it, and he's probably right. LaShawn McCoy. I'll be honest with you, I think McCoy is horrible. I think some of these former athletes or whatever, former players, I mean, they may have been great players, but they definitely aren't great in behind the microphone. Now, again, do a former player have probably a little bit more, whatever they say is going to have a little bit more take or have a little bit more umph to it? I can't think of the word I'm looking for. People going to take it more seriously? I would say so, yeah, because they played the sport. I get that, but still, that don't necessarily mean that they know what they're talking about. They can come with outlandish takes. I see some former athletes that had LaShawn McCoy is one. Gilbert Arenas is another one that come with some outlandish takes. I'm like, where is this coming from? So just because a former athlete turns a media personality doesn't necessarily mean what they say is going to always be golden, in my opinion. So again, Michael Parsons, he just got to step his game up. Don't worry about that. When you wear that star on your helmet, that's just the way it goes. People, there's no in between for Dallas Cowboys. You either love that team or you hate them. And honestly, the Cowboys are a good team, but the biggest thing is they got to learn how to win on the road. They got to beat good teams on the road, and that's been their biggest problem. they're going to win at home. They're going to win about 10, 11 games a season. They're going to do that. But they don't win the games that really to put them in, to take them to that next level. They haven't won a game like that in a minute, especially on the road. Right now they're what? I think they're 3-4. They're 7-0 at home, and they're 3-4 on the road. So I think Michael Parsons just got to get thick skin, and he got to step his game up. He only had 2 tackles versus the Bills last Sunday. He has 12.5 sacks this year, which has him tied for 8th for the league lead. But outside of that, man, he got to step his game up too. You can get on here crying and moaning and complaining, but at the end of the day, if you're not putting up the numbers, then people are going to be critical of you and what you're saying and what you're in your play. It ain't nothing personal. I think a lot of these new millennial athletes, they take it personal, and then they run to their podcast, and then that's when it sounds like that they whine it a little bit. But I think Michael Parsons is a great player. Everybody was trying to anoint him as the next Lawrence Taylor, and I'm like, he's definitely got the skill, but pump your brakes. He ain't Lawrence Taylor yet. He got to get over the hump. So that's my take on this whole Dallas Cowboys hate them, love it. Michael Parsons saying analysts, and I don't think former players are looking for these guys to fail. They don't want that. They just want you to perform. Again, Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp responded to this. You can go check out that story on TFG Sports Media and Kendrick Sports Hustle to get what they say. And Shannon Sharp went in, and he made a lot of valid points. So I can understand why Shannon Sharp had something to say. Stephen A. is always going to have something to say as well. So again, Michael Parsons, tighten it up, man. Y'all got a big game in Miami in a few hours, man. Handle your business down there, then you ain't got to worry about if former players or analysts are looking for you guys to fail. Now, let's move on to the high school level. Let's move on to Texas. We're talking, man, you know what they're saying? Everything is bigger and better in Texas. Man, when they said that, they were talking about this young fella right here. If you don't know who that is, man, that is DeSoto Eagles, high school offensive lineman Byron Washington. He's a junior for the DeSoto Eagles, who, by the way, just captured their second straight state championship a couple of weekends ago. They defeated Humble. Summer Creek, I believe, is the name of the team. They ran up the score on them. And this photo was taken during that state championship game. And by the way, the young fella with the number 11 jersey for the Humble team, he's 6'4", like 220 pounds. But if you're trying to figure out how big Byron Washington is, he is 6'7.5", 380 pounds, and he is a 3-star recruit according to 247 Sports in the class of 2025. Man, that is a big fella right there. Now, he's already been offered by Oregon, TCU, Texas, Arizona State, Grambling State. They've already offered it, and I'm quite sure that there's going to be other colleges come knocking, because this young fella right here is a man among boys. Now, a little background about Byron Washington. In the 6th grade is when he hit his growth spurt. He grew 6 inches in 1 month. Man, I would hate to be his parents. I know, boy, his parents are like, good God Almighty, how are we going to feed our baby, and how are we going to clothe this young fella? He grew 6 inches in 1 month. The doctors were very concerned. They were concerned about that. He had to have some medical procedures to kind of, I guess, slow his growth. So his football career, he started a little later. He entered DeSoto as a freshman. He played a little bit. His play as a freshman didn't play a lot. Then the sophomore year, his playing time increased. And now, again, this was his junior season. He helped the DeSoto Eagles win their second state championship in the Texas Class 6A Division II. So Byron Washington, this young man is 6'7", 380 pounds. He's probably bigger than most of NFL offensive linemen. And just a little bit of my background, I covered Texas high school sports for a while when I worked for the ABC affiliate KOTV in Tyler, Texas, as a news sports videographer, and I cover high school football, playoffs, all that. And I can honestly say I've never seen a Texas high school athlete as big as Byron Washington. This is a big kid. So I don't know. I hadn't seen him play in person, so I don't know as far as his footwork and all, but I was reading something where I think a DeSoto fan is wanting the head coach to allow him to play basketball so maybe he can improve his footwork, his lateral movement, because, yeah, that would translate big time for him in football if he would play basketball as far as getting conditioning as well, but as far as lateral movement and all that, that would be dope. So don't know if he's going to be allowed to play basketball or not at DeSoto, but I think that would be great if he was allowed to. So again, this is DeSoto High School and that's DeSoto's in Texas. It's in the Metroplex in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. This is a junior offensive lineman, Byron Washington. This photo right here went viral after the state championship game. He is 6'7.5", 380 pounds. Again, he has quite a few college offers on the table, and according to a report I read, that Texas is the front runner to get his services. So we're going to see if that happens. And again, congratulations, I must say, to DeSoto as well for winning their second state championship in the state of Texas. So we're moving on for that, and we're going to Complex Magazine. We're about to wind down 2023. The year's quickly coming to an end, and I ran across an article. Complex Magazine named the 25 most entertaining sports media personalities of 2023. And there was a lot of interesting media personalities on there. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that comment button too as well. TFG Sports Media and Kendrick Sports Hustle. So their criteria, one of their main criteria was that they ranked these, and it wasn't, sports knowledge didn't have to be the biggest criteria to be on their list. So that tells me that, and I've been in the social media world for a little bit now, trying to find my way as a YouTube sports content creator. And, you know, I'm part of a small channel that's trying to build. And you have to find what works for you. And you got to, first of all, you have to be authentic, and you have to have personality. Because viewers and commenters, they will know if that ain't who you are, if you're trying to be something you're not. But again, Complex said, you know, the one thing that you have to be engaging, you have to be able to entertain, you also have to be able to have talking points or opinions that will bring a positive or negative reaction out of viewers. I get that. So these are some of their personalities that they listed. If you see there, it's Mason Cameron. I actually subscribe to they're number 6 on this list. I have subscribed to their channel. They're interesting. They're a bunch of two brothers basically talking shop like we in the barbershop at a family barbecue. As you can see there, Michael Irvin came in at number 9. Mina Kimes came in at number 10. JJ Redick came in at number 8. As you can see, Kevin Garnett is up there as well. And Draymond Green, the suspended Draymond Green, who's in the mix as well. But the top 5, as you can see scrolling, and I think they got it right. Coming in at number 5 is Shaquille O'Neal, you know, inside the NBA, TNT Sports. You know, he's a funny dude. He's a character. He's been a character even when he was playing ball. Number 4, Pat McAfee, the new member of the ESPN crew with the big money. He come in at number 4. Charles Barkley, we know Chuck. He came in at number 3, again, inside the NBA, the TNT crew. Number 2, Stephen A. Smith, the face of ESPN, loud and in your face. I can only take him at doses, but he has a following. People like his style. I get it. And number 1, as I wasn't surprised, was Uncle Shannon Sharpe. He came in at number 1 as the most entertaining sports media personality of 2023. I think the top 5 got it. They got it right. Obviously, Shannon Sharpe is right now is a hot commodity after leaving Undisputed after almost 7 years with Skip Bayless, now joining First Take with Stephen A. on Mondays and Tuesdays. He also got his own club, Shay, that's like, I think he may be at 1 million subscribers. Now he got a new one with him and Chad Ochocinco, Nightcap, which is off the rails. If you haven't checked that out, Nightcap with Shannon Sharpe and Chad Ochocinco, you got to check it out and subscribe to it. They talk sports, but they talk a little bit of everything, and they be wilding out on there. So man, Shannon Sharp right now, again, he is that dude. When you talk about sports personalities, in 2023, he's that guy. Two guys that did make it that I love their style, but a lot of people may not like them. I do because I kind of look at myself similar to what they do, how they deliver. Is Marcellus Wiley, who has his own YouTube channel, which is dope. I like Marcellus. I liked him when he was on Speak for Yourself as well. And Bomani Jones, who is kind of out of a job now. But Bomani was with ESPN. He had his own show on HBO, but they let him go this past summer. So those are two guys that didn't make the list that I like. Probably I try, I kind of like their style, and I kind of emulate their style a little bit as well. So these are the 25. These are some of the 25 most entertaining sports media personalities. You can go check that list out if you want to see it in full at complex.com, and you can go check it out. And again, I think they got the top 5 right. I don't have no problem with that top 5. So it's all love from Complex Magazine. So we getting down to our last story for the day. Again, I want to say Merry Christmas Eve and Merry Christmas to you guys early. If you don't see me, but if it's some sports news that's going to be jumping off, I'm definitely going to pop in and probably do some quick lives or something. But make sure, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. That's TFG Sports Media and Kendrick Sports Hustle. Both of those on YouTube. Subscribe to them both. And if you would like to donate to the cause, I would definitely greatly appreciate any donation that you would like to invest in my endeavors. My Cash App is right there. It is $1969. Kendrick, I would accept all and any donations. Any would be greatly appreciated. I would invest it back in this business and new equipment. And so if you so kindly would, that would be appreciated. You don't have to, but I definitely would accept any donations that was put on your heart. So let's get down to our last segment, and we're talking rap. We're talking rap music, and we're going to talk sports, but we're talking mainly rap, hip hop, because I am a music head and I am a hip hop lover. I love R&B, I love jazz, I love gospel, I love a little bit of all blues. I listen to it all, but I'm definitely a hip hop head. And if you missed this, you can go back and watch it. Last week on December the 18th, I believe. If you're not familiar with NPR Tiny Desk, that's where they do concerts with different artists. Artists come in and do a concert, basically like a 30-minute set. Some go longer. This is basically 30 minutes. Where the Houston legendary rapper Scarface, his Tiny Desk set dropped last week, December 18th. And let's just say, between his and Juvenile, Scarface, I think, is the best NPR Tiny Desk set that I put my eyes on. I've actually watched this probably 5 or 6 times since it first dropped on YouTube. And I think the views are it's over 1.5 million views the last time I checked. But again, Face, if you don't know about him, Houston legend, Ghetto Boys. I think when you talk about one of the greatest of all time in the rap game, he's definitely in the conversation. I hate the GOAT talk again, especially in sports and music. I hate the GOAT talk, but people, it's something to debate. But if we're gonna say who's one of the top lyricists ever to do it, and put his stamp on it, Brad Jordan, aka Scarface, is definitely in that conversation. Now, he did a 6-song set. He did My Block, Mary Jane, Smile, I Seen a Man Die, F Faces, Mind Playing Tricks on Me. And let's just say, far as the band and his face and his delivery, his cadence, it was a match made in heaven. It is something you have to listen to. I can't even put it into words and explain how dope this whole set was and is. And Face just has that. He's like a preacher because he has the voice, the delivery, the cadence, and he's a storyteller. His stories, it's like you there. You can envision what he's talking about in his lyrics. So Face, again, I already knew him as a legend. We know that down south, we already knew him as a legend. But I think this Tiny Desk concert, this definitely put him over the edge. And I guarantee you, his music catalog probably has quadrupled since this Tiny Desk set dropped. And speaking of his musical catalog, he's dropped 11 studio albums, starting with Mr. Scarface is back in 1991, 1993, The World Is Yours, 1994, The Diary, 1997, The Untouchable, which, by the way, is his best-selling album of all of his solo albums. 1998, My Homies. 2000, The Last of a Dying Breed. 2002, The Fix. And so, Face he is a legend in the game. I think I read somewhere somebody said he's a rapper's favorite rapper, and I couldn't say it better. But definitely, Face is definitely in my top 5 of all time when you're talking about my favorite rappers. He's definitely in the mix. And I'm glad that we still have this legend here, man, and he's getting his flowers, because back in 2021, he had a serious battle with COVID that almost took his life. He ended up having to have a kidney transplant, and he was able to receive a kidney from his older son, Christopher. So again, Face was, and I think he was diabetic as well. I think he's got his health back on point. As you can see, he's a leaner, thinner Face. I can tell he's health-wise, he's doing a lot better. But if you haven't checked this out, you got to go check it out. And you got to check out Mike Dean, the white brother right there. He is a legend in the production game too. He's worked with Face on quite a few of his projects. Make sure you check it out. Mike Dean was actually a surprise addition. They didn't even know he was going to be with Face during this set. But Mike Dean showed up. And then I got to plug I have a relative on here too. If you can see that young man with that black back there on the keyboards, his name is Josh Henderson. He is actually my cousin. He is my first cousin's son. So he's been playing with Face. He's been doing a lot of stuff in the music game for the last couple of years. So got to give a shout out to my kinfolk, my fam, Joshua Henderson on those keyboards. He's doing this thing, and we couldn't be more proud of him as well. So again, had to talk a little hip hop with sports, man, because they go hand in hand. And again, if you haven't checked out Scarface's set on NPR's Tiny Desk, go to YouTube, just type in Scarface Tiny Desk. It's going to pop up, and I guarantee you that 31-minute set is going to change your life. It's going to put you back in that time, basically in the early 90s. That was definitely my time. I was in my early 20s back then. So it definitely brings back a lot of memories. So salute to Tiny Desk for getting some dope performers in there, and definitely getting Scarface in there, the last part, for one of the last performances for the year 2023. So again, if you watch this later, make sure you come in and hit that like, subscribe button, TFG Sports Media. Make sure you do that. Make sure you comment over there, because I'm going to come back and check out some of the comments as well. Make sure you share this to all your social media platforms. Again, subscribe to the channel. So follow me on Facebook, Kendrick Roland Henderson, my personal profile, Kendrick Sports Hustle. You can follow me there on Facebook, as well as TFG Sports Media. Follow me on Instagram, Kendrick1969. And follow me on TikTok. I'm over 1,000 subscribers now. Follow me over there, Kendrick Henderson 51. And speaking of TikTok, I posted a story on Florida State Seminoles. Some of their football players opting out of the college, the Orange Bowl this coming Saturday versus Georgia. And man, the comments over there are crazy. They going nuts. But I posted that video, that segment, probably about 2.5 hours ago. I think it's almost at 30,000 views. That is over there on TikTok. So, yeah, make sure you check out that story on. Again, some of Florida State Seminole football players have opted out of playing in an Orange Bowl versus Georgia, and I don't blame them, because I believe the college football committee. No, I know. I ain't going to say I believe. I know they screwed Florida State. The college football playoff committee screwed them. I say it again. They got screwed. They should be in the playoff, but that's neither here nor there. So, again, I want to thank anybody that watches this later. I want to thank you beforehand. Make sure you comment. Make sure you like this and share it as well. And also, before I get out of here, I cannot leave this show and dedicate this show to somebody that meant the world to me and means the world to me and will forever be in my heart. Bridget Annette Johnson Henderson. We basically met when we were, she was late teens, I was in my early 20s. We eventually got married. We had 3 beautiful children together. We grew, I would say we spent half our adult life together. We would eventually divorce, but we always had love for each other. We always stayed in contact with each other. We always had each other back. Well, today would have been her 49th born day. She would have made the big 49. We lost her unexpectedly back in May of 2022. So I dedicate this show to Bridget Annette Johnson Henderson. Even though you're gone, Dimples, that's what we called her. You will always be in our hearts and memories. We will forever have the memories. The heart will always remember, and memories will live on. Your memory will live on through our children and our granddaughter. So continue on your peaceful journey, Bridget Annette. We sure do miss you. And happy 49th Eternal Born Day. So again, I want to thank everybody that watched this later. Make sure you like, comment, share this to wherever you need to. I am Kendrick, the sports guy. We will see you on the other side and on the next report. I am out. Peace.